My name is Ken Holmes, and I'm going to do a couple of recitals of the spoken word, things that pop in my head. And when these thoughts pop in my head, I just write them down. My first word would be 99 other things to do to hold on. Once again, that was 99 other things to do to hold on. Can the world just stop and let me off for 5 minutes? That's all I need, 5 minutes, so I can lose myself, to myself, by myself. How many times have I felt the urge to scream or throw something? I wonder why I haven't just snapped and completely lost my everlasting mind. Oh, how I wait on that special day of the week, not Sunday, but that should be the special day. No, I'm talking about Thursday, payday. The day I think I'm going to have some money, but knowing all along, I won't. Before I even see the check or 1 penny, that money is already calculated for where it's going. I'm happy to have $30 to myself, 20 for gas, which will get me about 8 gallons. Ain't that a blip? And then treat myself to a snack at the first fast food joint I see. I don't need to try to find the cure to my situation at the bottom of a liquor bottle. I just close my eyes and say, Then my mind takes me on a natural journey, a journey for 5 minutes out of this world. As I'm cruising through space in my 1959 convertible Cadillac, the prettiest car ever to roll off the assembly line, I'm playing my favorite group, The Temptations, and I have the song Cloud 9 playing. As I'm talking with Jesus, I sense he is not answering my questions, just making statements toward them. Jesus tells me, I didn't bring you this far to leave you, nor will I put no more on you than you can bear. This is one of the 99 other things I do that keeps me holding on. The comedian Ricky Smiley has a saying that laughter is good for the soul. There are some movies, such as Big Mama's House, Life, and Rush Hour, that you can watch again and again and laugh over and over. But I don't need to put no dope in my veins to nod off for my 5 minutes to find myself. To get another natural high, I just love to enjoy the beauty of a brown-skinned sister. Look at that sister with the skin tone of caramel or that coffee and cream. Oh, snap. Look at that one, looking like a brand new batch of chocolate. Don't blink now. Look at that red bone, a.k.a. white chocolate. Last but not least, that sister right over there. Her skin tone, black on black in black, and she's dressed in black. Man, how I'll love for her to be my queen and I her king. So, when I need those 5 minutes, I just go for a walk, a drive, and let my sisters take me on a natural high, higher and higher. I don't need no coke up my nose, no glass pipe to suck for 5 minutes. I just look at where I was and how far I've come. I came this far with no drugs. I look within myself and say, man, it's good to be clean every day. So when I feel the pressure of this world messing with me, I can surely find 99 other ways to get a natural high to hold on, but never a high from doing illegal drugs. So I love myself and keep the faith because misery loves company. Everyone has the power to say no to drugs. Okay, on this second piece was inspired back in 2002 while sitting in church and the pastor was speaking. He brought a word for Black History Month. So this first half is all my words, and the second half is from Pastor Glass of El Bethel Church. So I'm giving credit where credit is due and not taking all the credit. It's titled, I Have a Dream That the Church. I have a dream that prayer will return to school so that that child that's going through something like bringing a gun to school to solve his problems, that morning prayer will grab hold to his soul and keep him whole. I have a dream that In God We Trust will once again be printed on our currency to rebuild our struggling economy. I have a dream that all men will become a true G, not as in the term gangster, but a true G referring to the word God, God's men, leading, loving, living for Christ. Only then can a man become a better husband, a better father, and a better leader. I have a dream that all churches will become as one, as the Father, the Son, the Holy Trinity are as one. The church will come together and just be church, no denominations, just holiness. I have a dream that only in the essence of time, the church will become like the crack house, the dope house, the bar, the liquor store, the corner gas station. Now, don't get it twisted. I said only in the essence of time. Now, think of a clock. Time stops for no one. The crack house and that dope house never closes. When the bars open, oh, how men come freely and willingly, and they never grudgingly give their money. When the liquor store closes at 2 a.m., that brother can go to the corner gas station, open 24 hours, to buy a pack of Newports to feed that Jones on his back. What I'm saying, saints, is that when one closes, the others are always open. In the essence of time, I have a dream that the church will never close. There will always be a pastor, an elder, a minister, a deacon, a missionary on duty 24 hours a day around the clock. So, on any given night, that brother or sister that's tired of the nightlife, on a Friday or Saturday night, that brother or sister that's tired of living for the weekend, they can go to the church, a place they can call home, without being judged, talked about, treated like nothing, being made to feel like they belong. They are hungry, looking for a different substance to feed that Jones being living for the world. They receive a substance, bread, as Jesus said, I am the bread of life. But this bread is not sliced bread from a simple loaf, nor is it a wafer from communion. This bread is the power of the word. For their gratitude, they say something more powerful than a simple thank you. They tell you now, it feels like something that shot up in my bones. The greatest man and the sweetest name I know is Jesus. Whether I dream this dream in my sleep with my eyes closed or with my eyes wide open as I daydream, all I know is that God has a plan and it will unfold. I have a dream of being in a church in the heart of the city, with the city in its heart. I dream of a church whose worship is inspiring, whose witness is enlightening, whose word is equipping, and whose work is empowering. I dream of a church that ministers to the young and the old, the singles and the married. I dream of a church that teaches the people the importance of good work ethics so they can make a life and a living. A church that teaches principles of healthy relationships with others, themselves, and more importantly, with God. Teaching how God wants us to have an active and sharp mind and an authentic, clean heart. I dream of a church that's traditional, yet contemporary, that's old school, yet in today's language, where the young at heart come for the joy and excitement and the adventure of learning and obeying God, and the seasoned saints come for peace and stability and the opportunity to serve God and man. I dream of a church that makes a difference in this community, in this century, for Christ, who died on the cross, who got up and left the kingdom work in our hands. I dream that long after Minister Williams and Brother Darren, yes, long after Sister Clotie and Sister King, yes, long after Deacon Clayton and Deacon Cadwell, yes, long after Pastor and Lady Erica have gone their way of the old saints, the church known as CCF, Canton Christian Fellowship, will continue to love God and obey Him and love man enough to serve Him. I have a dream that this will go on not just by the grace of God, but by the generosity and the determination of His people who share in His dream. It is of this I have a dream and continue to dream. Okay, on this third piece, it's titled, The Future Has a Past. I had a class assignment to write about something that inspires me, so I wrote about my children. It's titled, The Future Has a Past. In my mind, the way I think, to become a father has got to be the greatest achievement for a man. In the book of Genesis, God put Adam to sleep and removed one rib to create another life. Because Eve was created from man, the name to describe her is part man, woman. Today, when man creates another life, he's not asleep. His eyes are wide open. He knows what he's about to create, another life, part of himself, his future, and his past. This is when man starts his first real job. His title is labeled father, daddy, papa, etc. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and overtime is mandatory. As a father, there is nothing I would do for my children. When I take my last few breaths before passing on, here are a few events in my life I should see as my life flashes before me. The birth of my son. I purchased my ticket for this movie 9 months in advance. When it was time for curtain call, my son took center stage. He knew his lines. He didn't miss a beat. He spoke as any baby speaks, crying for his mother. My son won the award for leading man. His father and mother won the award for best supporting actors. Going on my son's first school trip, grade kindergarten, to the zoo in Asheville, North Carolina. I called off from work stating I was sick. My son asked, since I was sick, should I be going on the trip? I told him I was not sick, that I lied. He had this puzzled look on his face as if thinking, you said lying was a bad thing, and here you are lying. I was the only daddy to attend the trip. I felt very proud to be a daddy and not just a daddy that brings home a paycheck but does not interact with that child. Building a Pinewood Derby race car, second grade, taking a block of wood, transforming that block of wood into a race car. For weeks, we adjusted this, rearranged that, until we felt the car was ready. At the next Boy Scout meeting, we didn't win nor advance to the finals. We lost every race we entered our car in, but the bond that was formed building that car is priceless. I watched my wife, then Mary, braid our daughter's hair countless times. In my mind, braiding is like twisting, so that's what I did when I had to do her hair. I placed barrettes on the end of my so-called braids to hold them together. When her mother returned home, she only had one thing to say, your daddy did your hair. Before we leave the house, the children must be clean and presentable. At cheerleading tryouts for the Pee Wee League, when it came time to take the court, my daughter changed her mind. She got cold feet. So together, we took the gym floor for the tryouts. She made the squad and was able to cheer for her brother's basketball team. As a daddy, after the love lost its shine between their mother and I went my separate way. But by any means necessary, I stayed in touch with my children. I drove 1,600 miles in the weekend to surprise my daughter with a brand new bike. The look upon her face, priceless. In 2001, child support stated I had to pay $171 a week, plus provide medical coverage. After taxes, my check is about $200 to $220 for a 40-hour work week. Out of anger, I thought, man, paying this amount of money, I'm not doing anything else. So I thought. In 2003, I drove to Virginia on revoked license, expired tax, no insurance. Why? Because being a daddy means going above and beyond the call of duty. When I help my children, my child support does not stop, but I manage to provide. I make sure we have a meat, a vegetable, and a starch for dinner. I remember once telling my son to eat, I like to watch you eat. As soon as I said that, I remember my mother telling me that as a child. I never knew what she meant until I told those words to my son. She was making sure I ate first and had enough. In the year 2004, my reserve unit was alerted, so my children did not come that year. The entire year of 2005, I was in Iraq. Not seeing my kids in 3 years was like being in prison. We talked on the phone, but there's nothing like reaching out and hugging them. I flew my kids up from Virginia in 2006. Waiting to pass through security at the airport, I see my children approaching. We're looking at one another thinking, man, you changed. My son, age 14, is taller than me. My daughter, age 11, is looking me in the eye. You know, in 3 years, a lot can change. Doing the laundry, I noticed there was no undergarments belonging to my daughter to be washed. So I asked her, shouldn't you have some dirty bras and panties to be washed? So what's up with that? She broke down crying, saying she would wash them when she returned home. She had them in a plastic bag in her suitcase. Once again, another priceless moment. I told her she was now in charge of doing the laundry. I asked her, you're going to see my dirty drawers, so what's the big deal? Every time I have a serious talk with my children, I inform their mother, and she does the same for me, so no one is left out of the loop. Whenever she gives me a bad report, I call down to Virginia and jump in their case over the telephone. The comedian Chris Rock said, there is nothing more powerful than the words, I'm going to tell your daddy. When any child hears those words, he or she should straighten up and get themselves together because they know their daddy don't play. In the movie Rush Hour, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker were playing the dozens. Out of the blue, Chris Tucker tells Jackie Chan, my daddy can beat your daddy. Oh, how a child looks up to their daddy, even when we daddies are wrong and man enough to own up to our mistakes. We are still the idols, but not perfect. I can write forever about the love my kids and I share. I have an old shoebox titled Daddy's Box. Inside are mementos that my kids have made for me from kindergarten to 3rd grade. One would think my children live with me because of their pictures throughout my apartment, but I only have them 5 or 6 weeks in the summer. But I will always have them in my sights when I'm at home. My children will forever carry my love with them. My son should grow into a fine gentleman. As times get rough from him, he will stand tall and proud and shower his children with love. He would not abandon his past. My daughter would know no matter how many heartbreaks she encounters, her daddy loves her. So no man can ever make her feel unloved. So I give myself a round of applause for being a good father. I'm not trying to be a perfect daddy. No, am I looking to be recognized. I do these things so that my past will have a bright future. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. Proverbs 17:6.